So in my last video, I talked about John Tavares and suggesting that there is a good fit for John Tavares in Chicago. In this specific video, I just wanted to go over what a team would look like if we were to move John Tavares and only John Tavares. So that was the only trade I made here. So I'm keeping Mitch Marner. I'm keeping the rest of the crew together. I didn't make a specific trade. I just put him on long-term injury reserve here. But let's just assume he agrees to waive somewhere and John Tavares is not on the roster. And in this scenario, it is assumed that he does not, that we do not need to retain any cap space. So John Tavares only has 1 year left on his $11 million deal. And if after July 2nd, he only is owed $910,000. So he has like a $7 million signing bonus. And after that point, whoever would be acquiring him only has to pay him $910,000. So his contract might actually be a little bit valuable, especially to a team like Chicago. But in this scenario, like I said, I'm not going to trade him to a specific team. Let's just assume he's going to go somewhere. I'm sure somebody's in the comments going to be like, why would John Tavares ever waive anywhere ever? But let's just assume that he will. I still believe that the highest probability is that John Tavares remains a Leaf and that Marner gets traded, but we'll see. I just wanted to play around with this scenario, and I just wanted to show you what I came up with and what I see and how I see things. So the first thing that I started off with is that I re-signed Bertuzzi and Domi both to matching contracts, $4.5 million times 5 years. So Bertuzzi gets a pay decrease, Domi gets a pay increase. And they get matching $4.5 million times 5-year deals. I think they deserve a similar contract based on what they were able to perform, based on what they were able to do. So the first line that I have listed here, obviously in the playoffs, we had Bertuzzi, Matthews, and Domi. In this scenario, I put Bertuzzi, Matthews, and Marner. Lines can be played around. A big signing that I made was Elias Lindholm. Obviously, he has connections with Brad Treliving, and I signed him for a 7-year, $7 million deal. So 7 years, $7 million for Elias Lindholm to play as our second line center. So we go from $11 million player to a $7 million player, and then we would have $4 extra million to play around with elsewhere in our roster. So Nyes, Lindholm, Nylander as our second line. Our third line, Bobby McMahon, Max Domi at center, Nicholas Robertson. I really like that third line. In the fourth line, Connor Dewar, Kampf, and Yarncroke. Really like that line. And extra forward is Pontus Holmberg. He can move in, he can move out. Of course, obviously, we have Easton Cowan, and we have Fraser Minton, who will also be in the mix. They will be in the mix for this team. We'll see if they make it or not. But I know some people are saying that there's no way that they would make the team. But Fraser Minton made the team out of camp this past year. It's just that they were only going to play him like 8 minutes a game, so they decided to send him back down. And Easton Cowan looked like a stud as well. So there is a chance that they both make it. So there is a chance that a guy like Kampf goes, a guy like Yarncroke goes. We'll see how that plays out. But when it comes to this forward group, I love it. There's no holes in this forward group. I think this is an amazing forward group. This looks perfect, in my opinion. Defense is the next target. I really like Morgan Rielly. He's a very good second defenseman on a team. You know, you'd still hope that you have a guy better than him, but there aren't very many players that are better than him in the NHL on defense. And at $7.5 million, I'm really happy with his contract, happy with his cap hit. I like his work ethic. I like everything about Morgan Rielly. Of course, we would all want him to be a little bit better on the defensive side of the puck. But that's why you sign a guy like Matt Roy. Roy is a guy that I'm having a hard time predicting his price. I'm going to say it's going to be 5 or 6 years at $5.5 to $6.5 million. So here, sign him for 5 years, $5.7 million a year. He's a big, physical, defensive defenseman. He was playing in LA for the past few years, and they love him. He's 29 years old. I think he would be a perfect addition to, or a perfect complementary piece to Morgan Rielly. I think that would be an amazing pair. McCabe, Timothy Liljegren, I extended. He's a current restricted free agent. He's another guy I could possibly see being moved. Of course, I kept him here to a 4-year, $3 million contract. And then I signed 2 depth guys on defense. And one of them was Eric Gustafsson, who we had last year, and then Lyubushkin, who we had this year, to matching 2-year, $1.6 million contracts. Those might be on the low end of things. There's a wishful thinking. But I really like that pair as well. I believe we need a few specialists, like Eric Gustafsson obviously puts a lot of points up, and we really struggled over the past few years generating offense from our defense, and I think Eric Gustafsson would be a great addition. Lyubushkin, I think most of us like what he brings. He's a good number 6 or 7 defenseman. He's physical. He has that defensive presence, and I like that line. And of course, we have Benoit too, who I really like. I really like that Benoit-McCabe pair. That's an option here. Then we would have a lot of flexibility. In terms of this defense, I would hope that we can do a little bit more than this. Like if we can add a guy like Montour, add a guy like Tanev potentially. The problem in this scenario is the cap gets tight again if we sign Bertuzzi and Domi and Lindholm. So our defense is missing one piece. It's better than what we had this year because I think Roy is an upgrade to anything that we have had. But I would still want it to be a little bit better. So that's where I really see a hole on this team. And then in net, we have Joseph Woll, and I signed Anthony Stolarz. And Stolarz is the backup goalie for Florida. He's huge. He's like a 6'6" monster. And I signed him for a 2-year, $2.5 million deal. I think he would be a perfect complementary to Woll. A 2-year deal would be great so that guys like Hildeby and Peksa and Akhtiamov, all of our goaltending prospects can take more time to build their game in the KHL or the AHL and see who emerges from that group. Because we have a big group of goaltending prospects that look very solid, but we just need to give them a bit more time. And of course, Woll, he's looked great when he plays, but he is often injured. So I hope that they can figure that out. But overall, this forward group, I love it. The defense, I like it, but I don't love it. I would want an upgrade over Liljegren. I would want an upgrade over Lyubushkin. This is the left defenseman that I really want. Morgan Rielly, McCabe, Gustafsson, Benoit. If we had that 4 on left, that would be amazing. On right, if it was something like Roy, Hronek, or Montour with a Tanev, oh my goodness, that would be unbelievable. But the cap, the money, starts being playing into a factor. So in that scenario, a guy like Mitch Marner would need to be moved out as well. And of course, that is an option. So probably my next video, I've made a video now moving Marner. I've made a video now talking about John Tavares being moved. Maybe my next video is talking about what it would look like if we moved both of them. Unlikely scenario, but I still want to make that team just so you guys have an idea. But like I said, I'll be uploading videos every single week on Saturdays. This one might be coming out Sunday, depending on where you are. It was a long day. I ran a 14-kilometer relay race today. And I was outside all day, so I'm a bit pooped. So I'm shooting this video at almost 11 p.m. at night. But I figured I'd get it out. I said one video every Saturday, so here it is. I'm grinding it out. I'm working towards 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, so please drop that follow, that subscribe. It's free. It'll just tell you when another of my videos gets put up. And you need 1,000 subscribers on YouTube to become monetized, to make some sort of money from YouTube. And that would be a cool little goal of mine over 2024. I'm sure even if I had 1,000 subscribers, it would be minimal, but it's better than nothing. And this would be a fun little side project. I'm really enjoying it. Anyways, comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are about John Tavares being moved and what you think of this team, specifically the team that I created. Is there anything that you agree with, anything that you disagree with? Love to know. Anyways, Brian, the Leafs guy, out of here. Until next Saturday, unless I decide to post another random video throughout the week. But time will tell. Much love. Bye.